It's the motherfucking player haters. Oh, yeah.
Player haters.
Holy shit. You know what I'm saying? Recently, just watched this movie called Weapons. And the way it ended. That's why I titled this last regular season episode, but the way it ended. Holy shit. Let's get into it, because quite literally the last time we had some sort of checkup, there's a tie for some people. And I don't think we're going to actually know how this season is concluded, because there is still baseball going on. And I believe that Josh might be done. Pulling up his I'm looking at the live stat tracker right now. Josh appears to be done. Ray and Nick's matchup is not done yet, but I believe that Romy Gonzalez might be out of the game for Ray. Mandalorians took over the win. I mean, Walker didn't really get anything done, but there is still, it's the top of the ninth in the Boston Arizona game, and Boston is up to bat, so that'll be one more chance for the Diamondbacks to go up. And it appears Corbin Carroll and Alex Bregman still involved in Brian and Eric's matchup, and Trevor Story still playing for Shane. Man, this week held a lot of people in just a nervous state. First of all, let me thank Walker real quick. Thanks for doing the podcast last week. Great job, man. Short, simple, to the point, and I appreciate you dubbing myself and Jesus's matchup the matchup of the week. It definitely was, in my opinion, a nail biter up until today. Really feel like, I gotta say, I was so excited when I pulled up last night the pitching stats, and I seen that Mason Miller had come in, and I believe Reed Detmers even, because as he pointed out, I pointed out, I only had 3 starting pitchers, 3 going into last week. Like, not just 3 starting pitchers. I only had 3 of them that were actually going to pitch. Oh my gosh. Like, so I was very nervous going into Saturday with only 1 starting pitcher, and I had 18 innings. 18 on a Saturday. I mean, you never know if these teams are going to pitch these relief pitchers. And then, of course, I have relief pitchers come in today, and they kind of, screwed up a few more stats, but won me another one. I only needed 2 strikeouts. That's how crazy it is that myself and Jesus had, like, he had 15 more innings than me, and I just needed 2 strikeouts to catch him. And Taijuan Walker did not have a good day on the bump. and he only got one strikeout. But I couldn't. I had three relief pitchers come in and couldn't even get a strikeout. So that's not what you want. But anyways, what I did want happened. 10-2. That's what I'm gonna say about this. Alex Bregman is up to bat. I'm kind of enjoying giving this. Alex Bregman just got a hit, I believe, or at least is on base. 2 men on, top of the ninth. It's 7-4 now, where I believe it was 6-4. I'm not exactly sure. I can click on it and it'll tell me. Sogard scored. Alex Bregman reached on a throwing error. Jarren Duran is up. 2 strikes. So, but yeah, let's get into this week because it's not technically finished just yet. But the fact of the matter is that it is not finished. It looks like we are going to have a 3-way tie for 6th place. And this is when it comes down to how did those matchups go between who you competed against. And I should point out that the game between myself and Jesus is not concluded. He still has Rafaela and Perdomo, but I feel pretty confident that he's not going to, get 3 home runs, or excuse me, 6 home runs and RBIs. I'm beating him by 12 and I'm beating him by 8 runs, stolen bases. I feel pretty confident, going into the bottom of the ninth or the ninth inning rather, that I have won against Jesus. But the matchup that was between Shane and Jason, look, I mean, this was crazy. And Jason, nothing really was, he put up a dogfight against Shane, and Shane's team has just come alive for these past couple of weeks. He is definitely showcasing that the trophy might be staying right where it is because he, outside of like a high ERA with his pitching stats, not really, what you want going into the playoffs, but 450, 454 between these two gentlemen. But, at the end of the day, it just comes down to who had the better stats, and he took every single one of them. Shane did in terms of the batting, but Jason had a great week. 12 home runs, 34 ribbies, not the best batting average or OBP, but not being able to compete in any of those categories is costing him a playoff spot, it appears. Josh had just a collapse throughout the last couple of weeks. A team that was, as pointed out by Walker last week, a team that was locked in to a bye week just a few weeks ago and cannot seem to put it together. He's not really had a lot of offensive strength. I'd be kind of pressed to say who would Josh point, the finger at, in terms of his draft, because he's kept a lot of the same players. Ellie De La Cruz has been somewhat of a major disappointment in my opinion. Yes, 32 stolen bases, 95 runs, 19 home runs. It sounds like a good, but I think a lot of people were expecting more from him, like 30 home runs, possibly, 40 to 50 stolen bases. Again, I think I just, 32. What are we talking about? 8 here, but still just, and meanwhile, Josh's Julio Rodriguez was able to put up some nice numbers for Sean. I don't mean to like say whatever, but, I know that Josh has always held it against Julio Rodriguez for not producing when he's drafted him. And never mind, Sean didn't even play him. He benched him Saturday. He benched him today. So those could have just been even worse numbers. And I bet Josh is probably in some phrase, some form saying, God, if I had him, what would it look like? What would my season had finally looked like with Julio Rodriguez? Which again, I think we've come accustomed to Julio Rodriguez being a second half type of player. Ray definitely was trying to keep pace with Nick. Nick was very dominant in his hitting performance this week. Another team that has just really found somewhat of a groove. I don't know what Nick was doing this week. Maybe just burning all of his moves, or was trying to keep pace with Ray because she had so many pitchers. But my God, I mean, he was very active and was adding just every single player all throughout the week. Like, I was like, damn, what's he doing? But it really, in my opinion, cost him. I mean, he picked, he's got a 6.75 ERA, and he still wasn't even able to catch her. I think it's just crazy. I mean, she had 12 strikeouts today from Hunter Green. Look at that. Good stats. So, I always like to talk about briefly, like, a couple of players that won't be making the playoffs. And I'm sorry, I'm coming to you guys on a Sunday night. I know that there's football involved, but I will be at work till late in the evening, working a ship tomorrow, probably with Eric. But it appears we will not be seeing the likes of C.J. Abrams, Nick Castellanos, James Wood, which James Wood after the All-Star break, wow. But some pretty good pitchers are going down with Ray. Hunter Green, Drew Rasmussen. She's got probably one of the best relief pitchers in the game right now, and that's Aroldis Chapman. Have y'all seen the numbers that dude has put up? Holy shit, man. I don't even think he's had – I think I read a stat the other day that he hasn't had a guy on base for like he hasn't given up a hit for several appearances. I'm seeing a 1.00 whip back on August 19th. But he's got 77 strikeouts. I don't see how many. Excuse me. See his stats here for the season. 32 save plus holds. Last year he had 36. So, anyways, he's not going to make it. But yeah, she has a pretty good pitching staff that's not going to be attending the festivities that are next week for the playoffs. Sean, he's bringing with him, Vinny Pasquantino, Lawrence Butler, Julio Rodriguez, some pitchers like Yamamoto, who just had a kick-ass game, Chris Sale, who's back, Nick Pivetta. So we'll be missing out on some of those, players. And then, you look at Mandalorians too. This matchup between him and Walker, like I had mentioned earlier, Mandalorians had a day-to-day, and it looks like he's going to be able to take the victory lap, but it does not appear like he is going to be able to make it into the playoffs. Bringing with him guys like Cal Raleigh, who had a great season, Ketel Marte, Christian Yelich, who's like day-to-day, guys like Zach Gallen, Tariq Skubal, high draft pick. But again, Walker, another week where he just had such a high ERA from a team that is really built around the pitching staff. And just he did not have the day that he needed to have today to win this matchup. And again, he is desperately looking to see what's going to happen for the tiebreaker if there ends up being one. And I'm not sure. Let me go back to the stat tracker real quick. Go back to this. So it is the bottom of the ninth. The score remains 7-4, and the aforementioned Aroldis Chapman is on the mound, and He has given up a hit to Alek Thomas, so the streak of that is over. A wild pitch. But he's got Locklear. He does not have like the best of the best to face in their lineup. He faced Blaze Alexander. Gave a hit to Alek Thomas. Or no, Vargas got a hit. He came in for Alek Thomas. But he reached on a wild pitch. That's what I'm reading. So it's not even a hit. So yeah, we'll keep you updated. But that's the last baseball game of the day right now. Bottom of the ninth. They need, Perdomo to come around, but right now, one out, one man on, and this Locklear kid up, then Lawler, and then it'd be back around the top of the order. I don't foresee it getting to Perdomo, in my opinion. Keep you guys posted. I like that little aspect of because once that game goes final, we'll be able to pretty much go ahead and leave it up to the fantasy baseball gods. Last matchup that I want to talk about was swinging and missing and Agents of Chaos, Brian's team. Now, Brian is in place to make that move into being our number 2. So congratulations, Brian. Sophomore year, and look at what you've done. Kudos to you, man. I mean, you've made, in my opinion, you made strong stances on trades this year that you weren't going to do, what you were going to do. And I mean, it definitely showed that, your freshman year here in the league has been surpassed. And now your freshman year could very well lead to something that I myself have not yet achieved, and that is being number 1 overall. That bye week definitely is, in my opinion, always stressful yet fun. But you really, if you're a competitor and you want to play the game, it's just like the fantasy, the All-Star break. It sucks because you're just sitting there idle, and you're literally sitting there idle for 7 days, which is obviously longer than the All-Star break in and of itself. So, but you also know you're guaranteed a top 4 spot. So that always feels great. So, but Eric, we cannot not talk about you, sir. Wow. Arise like a phoenix. And it's amazing that you've come to this point in the matchup or in the season. It looks like you're about to walk away with a win, and you've beaten the number 2 team in our league, and what a week to do it. But again, I cannot stress enough that this is going to come down to matchups that happen during the week. So getting us back into, there's now 2 outs. Locklear struck out. Ball, foul ball, called strike. I imagine Lawler is fixing to be the third victim, if you will, of Aroldis Chapman striking out the side. And that's exactly what happened. Lawler struck out swinging, so that's it. Our regular season has ended, and these are your final scores, the ones that I have already given you. Myself beat Troubleshooters 10-2. Shane beat Jason 9-2. Benchwarmers fell to Hitman 8-4. Nick 7-5 over Ray. Mandalorians came back on today and beat Rally Monkey 7-5. And Eric won 6-4. That's your last game. Now, again, we've already spoken. These are your top, we'll say, concrete top 6 or top 4 teams. Shane will go into the first week of the playoffs riding high on a bye. Agents of Chaos, Brian, second place. Nick, third place. And this just chaps my ass because I have 130 wins, but he's got 23 ties. But myself will be fourth place. Now, here is your wow. Rally Monkeys 100 is sitting in fifth place right now. Sixth place is Eric. These guys, I mean, Walker has one more tie than Eric. So I'm going to confidently say Walker should be locked into a playoff spot at fifth, which means I just got a new update. Wow, there it is. We got a new update just as I'm reading this. Eric is now fifth. Walker is sixth. Benchwarmers is seventh. And it appears that the one win that Walker has with his 125, 121, and 18 record is strong enough to hold off Josh and his 124, 122, and 18 record. That's nuts. Again, I believe that there's some fractions that have to get put in there, but man, we are seeing Mandalorians, Jason with the Tortured Baseball, Troubleshooters, Hitman, and Rayford Peaches not involved in the playoffs. I think it's going to come down to some mathematical equation and what took place between the two, because, I mean, it's one win and one loss. So, I mean, I guess it is set. Rally Monkeys has the better record by one win. That is nuts. That's crazy. Wow. So there it is. I think, I'm pretty sure we've got it. Rally Monkeys, Swinging and Missing, D's Nuts, Me Casas, Su Casas, Agents of Chaos, Trippin' Billies. So that means if I remember correctly, I always forget, myself and Walker will face off next week, and Nick and Eric will face off. Wow. Yeah. That's just crazy, gentlemen, ladies. Let me see if I can actually. I don't think they actually have the setup. Yeah, they don't have the setup right now for it. So we'll find out in the morning the actual placement for everything. So, but I won't take up any more of your time. What a wild and crazy end to the season. So again, but the way it ended, that's what's crazy. So hopefully you guys have a great evening. I know that this is not ending in some people's, but it just goes to show you that every single week from week 1 to week 22 is crucial. And it all comes down to the last week of the season for the most teams that I've ever remember it coming down to. Because Mandalorians was definitely a talking point that could be in the playoffs before it just ended. Jesus, Jason, myself, Josh, Walker, Eric. I mean, we're talking about 7 teams here. It's nuts. It's crazy. But 6 teams will move on, and 6 teams will play for a consolation prize of can of beans is up for grabs for whoever plays last. So, and I guess we can't forget too that per the stat tracker, the Josh and Scott will get next week as bye weeks as well. So, wow. What a way to end the season. Hope you guys have a great evening. We'll see you next week. It's the mother